My name's Jacob Vernick. I'm a sales engineer here at NewBlue, and welcome to Discover Captivate, a brand new webinar series from NewBlue. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. We've got a very special presentation of our typical Discover Captivate webinar here today. So I am out in San Diego at NewBlue headquarters, and we've got the whole team here. We've got a company offsite, company onsite, whatever you want to call it, going on. Naomi, I could tap on the wall right here, and she would hear me. We are right across from each other, and what we're doing is we're bringing all the minds together. I know we've been getting a lot of feedback that people are tired of me. They don't want to see my face anymore. They want to see someone else. And today we're
Yeah,
finally delivering on that feedback so that we can bring in, we've got Caleb, our product manager of Captivate. We've got Jeff, one of our key developers. We've got Daniel, our head of support, and they're all hopping on because we wanted to just take 5 minutes of each of our days and tell our users, hey, here's one thing about Captivate that either we love, we think you might not know about, but you should know about. We just wanted to highlight our favorite things about this software. So rather than kind of going through the typical normal spiel today, we're just going to dive into all of those little pieces that make Captivate special to us. So luckily, I drew the good straw today. I get to go first, highlight my favorite thing, one of my favorite things about Captivate. But then we're going to bring in Caleb to talk a little bit about shots. We're going to bring in Jeff to talk about Companion and the scoreboard tool and how to set up your Companion. And then we're going to bring in Daniel, who's going to be talking about how to make his life easier. Because at the end of the day, all you want to do is make support's life a little bit easier so that we get problems solved. So without further ado, we're going to dive in right now. And we're going to talk Captivate. So I've got a project here today, very basic, kind of all over the place because we're talking about so many different things. But the number one thing that we are going to talk about is going to be, I'm going to be talking about is a spreadsheet and how to use the spreadsheets to your advantage to automate specific workflows. So what does that mean to me? Today, well, we're going to be talking about how would I build out a stock graphic, right? I want to be able to take live stock data. I want to be able to import into Google Sheet, and maybe I want to change the color depending on specific information that's coming in, right? We've all seen these kind of graphics before, right? So if I click right here on play, get this graphic going, you can see if the change percentage is positive, this text is going to be green. We're just kind of auto playing through a different graphic every 5 seconds, or excuse me, a different place. And you'll see when we hit this Tesla stock, it's going to change to red. So this is the goal of this, my little segment, how can we use data to automate specific workflows, right? So I'm going to pull up my Google Sheet right here. Is this sharing or no? You're not seeing my Google Sheet, are you?
no.
Okay, give me one sec. I'm sharing the wrong thing. All righty. Share, I could desktop. There we go. All right. So now I'm sharing this, and this is our Google Sheet. So you can see right here, I've got the stock name, the stock price, the change percentage, and then the specific color. So one thing that I learned about Google Sheets, I love this so much. They have their own formula that gives you the stock price of uh, of any publicly traded company. All you have to do is type in equals Google Finance. You can see that right there, equals Google Finance. Put it in with the value. So it's pulling from A2, so it's Apple, and then type in price. And now it gives me the price. It updates as much as I want it. Come over here, change percentage. And then what I'm doing, well, I want it to show red in Captivate if it's a negative value, and I want it to show green in Captivate if it's a positive value. Now, you can even see right there, it just changed right in front of all our eyes. All those stocks just got updated. So I'm using if-else statements in Captivate, or excuse me, in the Google Sheet to power Captivate. So I am saying if the terms meet specific conditions, right? If C2, the change percentage, is less than 0, I want the color to be red because it's negative. If it's more than 0, I want it to be green because it's positive. And that is how we're powering this graphic right here in Captivate. It is saying, hey, I know what these numbers are. We're linking all this data up in our preview window. So if I get our preview window open over here, you can see in the link data over here. Let me just move this out of the way. We've got our change percentage, our stock name, our stock price, and our color all hooked up to the correct spot so that we can automate all of the graphic that we want outside of Captivate and then use that information that we're using all these additional tools to do to build out the workflow that we want. Last thing I'm going to show, I may have talked about this before or not, and I'm not sure if you're noticing this in the program monitor, but you can see that this green bracket over here on the left-hand side is actually moving, contracting, expanding. You can see it right there as a great example as to how much text is in that field, right? And that is another thing I'm just going to highlight quickly as one of my favorite little things is just the resize function and the object following in Captivate. So I'm going to go into the title designer and I'm going to click on this left bracket right here. And if I go over down to motion and data and I scroll down to the bottom right here, what I'm telling this little guy right here to do is I want it in the object following. I'm saying, hey, I want this left bracket to move. I could also say resize. I want it to move left based off of what's happening with a different layer. So you say, hey, this is the layer that's going to expand and contract, and I want this one to do something in response. I want this object to follow whatever that one is doing. So that is how the left graphic is expanding. The left bracket is going to move to the left for a longer text and contract into the right for some shorter text. So I covered a couple things in this one. Object following, we talked about a little bit of data stuff, how you can automate your data outside of Captivate to build the specific workflows that you want. And now let's send in our first guest of the day, which is going to be Caleb, to talk a little bit more about shot workflows. So I think we've talked about shot workflows in a bunch of different projects, a bunch of different webinars here, but now we're going to dive in a little bit more to them. So come right here, Caleb, pop a squat. And let's talk a little bit about shots. All right, now we're cooking. So, Caleb.
Yeah.
What's your title?
I am product manager for Captivate.
The product manager for Captivate. The person that you actually want on these webinars is finally on these webinars. So we're going to talk a little bit about shots.
Yeah.
And give me the high level. What are we talking about with shots? Why do you like them? Why did you want to highlight them?
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to highlight shots because I think they're incredibly powerful, and I don't think a lot of people are using them yet. From a very high level, what I'd say they do is it's basically a macro to queue multiple graphics at once. So maybe we can give a little example.
Yeah, so I've got, kind of like a bug, a lower third, and a background right here, right? And then I can come down here, click group into a shot. It's going to give me something right here that's going to play all three of those elements at one time.
Yeah.
When do you think people are going to be using this?
So I think there's a lot of situations where you could want to use this. I mean, maybe you want to manage a few elements individually, like you're showing here. You could have a score bug and, perhaps it's just a normal station bug or something like that.
Yep.
That you want to be playing at once. But where I really think this is going to be most useful for people is that you can really build up your shots as the cues for your run of show. And so you can have different moments that are really going to be powered by this shot system.
Nice.
And I'll try to give some examples of what that might look like. So one basic thing is that we can set up shots with different combinations of the same graphics. So like, say we would want to have another shot here that would have the background and the bug, but not the lower third.
So the background of the bug, we'll group those into a shot. And now we'll play the one with the lower third.
So now we play this one and we see it's playing all three elements.
Yep.
This shot system is really intelligent about understanding which elements are playing and which ones are not.
Yep.
So when we play the next shot, we're going to see that the only one that's affected is it's going to take out the lower third. It's going to leave the other two on.
So I played the whole new thing, but it doesn't animate it all off, animate it all back on. It just does the minimum change that is necessary.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what people want. They don't want to have to, No, that's fantastic.
And so at a really basic level, that's what it does, and it does it very well. But we can also dig into getting really powerful with some of the macros that we can build out with the shots.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of different things we can do down here in the properties, right? I mean, setting, adding quickly other graphics to this shot. So if I just wanted to click on and maybe I forgot something, I can add our stock graphic in here, or I can add our lower third back in. I can just do that. Tell me a little bit about shot values right here.
Yeah, so this is what we can do here is we can actually override any of the values that are in the graphics that are playing as part of the shot. So probably said that in an overly complicated way, but basically we can just set what any of those values, variables, images, whatnot are going to be. So for instance, if we were to have we're to set up one shot, maybe that's going to be the Jacob shot, and
Yeah.
one shot that's going to be the Caleb
Let's
shot.
do that right now. So we'll set this up as the Jacob lower third, and now we'll duplicate this shot. And we'll set this up as the Caleb lower third, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now the idea here in the shot values is that you can override these values, right?
Right. So in this Jacob one, we're going to go in here into the shot values. We're going to make sure the override's turned on for that name.
Yep.
That's going to make sure that whenever we play this shot, that the name value gets set to Jacob.
Fantastic.
And title, we can turn that one on too and put your official title in there.
Yeah, okay. We'll throw in sales engineer right here.
All right, and then let's go do the same thing for Caleb.
Okay. Turn this off. We'll go to Caleb. We'll go to shot values. And now this is going to be our Caleb graphic. So we'll do Caleb Christopher. And then we'll do our little product manager. Hit enter. And now, theoretically, when I hit this play one, we've got Jacob Vernick, sales engineer, right here in our program window. Make it a little bit bigger. And then when I go to Caleb, and then again, it's only intelligent reanimating the small things that changed in this graphic.
Right, it's not even changing out the graphics in this case, it's just updating individual variables within the graphic.
Super powerful.
We can also set audio mixes if we were doing things with like picture-in-picture graphics. So it's incredibly powerful what you can do to build this out. Then you start to combine that with companion controls and
well, and then you can have the shot launcher right here so that you get the preview thumbnail way bigger than rather having just to rely over there, right? So now you can really even see everything.
In fact, if you don't mind me here,
please take over.
You can even take out the project window completely. So once we're in operation time, we're just operating off of thumbnails.
Right. And if we wanted to make this our live thumbnail, we just come up here, hold it up on live. And now this is our live preset. So now every time we click on this, we'll click on setup, it'll bring us to this layout. Click on live. Every time we click on live, it's going to bring us right back to this.
Absolutely. And kick me out if I'm out of time. But the other thing that's powerful with the shots is we can even do some configuration on them. So if you here do the edit button on the shots, we can add things like color labels. And then this makes it so we can even sort these so we can have different types of cues. Like maybe there's some for crowd reactions to or fan prompts, for touchdowns or things like that during a.
And it's coming more for organization too, right? To be able to just have a visual cue of what you want to trigger. It's so good. All right. I think it's your time. Thanks so much. Let's call on the next person. Let's get Jeff in here to talk a little bit about Bitfocus Companion. We're keeping the pace moving today, folks, not the normal boring Jacob spiel. We're bringing in Jeff, and I appreciate the pace with which you're coming in here. This is perfect. So, Jeff, the man behind the companion integration, dare I say, is here to talk a little bit more about Bitfocus Companion, the scoreboard tool. So tell me, why is this what you wanted to talk about? What are we going to be talking about?
Yeah, so the Bitfocus Companion is something that we put a lot of energy into in the last pretty much year. We've made all kinds of improvements to it. If you're using the old Stream Deck integration, we highly are encouraging you to move to the newest Bitfocus Companion. You can download the latest stuff really easily. And I wanted to use Scoreboard Tool as the illustration for this because pretty much, with just a couple exceptions, every single button that you see in the Scoreboard Tool, you can actually do from the Stream Deck. And so we've got a Stream Deck lined up over here. Do we have that?
Yeah, we do.
Awesome. Yeah, so we've got a Stream Deck over here that you can see. There it is. And we've got each of these buttons configured in such a way we're mirrored. Is there a way for us to undo that?
Well, it's just we see it as mirrored. I don't believe
it. It's only for me. Yeah. All right. So over here, we've got visitor score, home score. We've got visitor score +2, visitor score +3. And so all of these are your major buttons. The greatest way to do this is so that you can have one person who's on Captivate handling all the big graphics that need to be updated and all that stuff, and someone else is able to operate the scoreboard as if it was a hardware scoreboard, just using this method. So let's hit some things.
They don't even need to be on the same machine. I mean, they just need to be on the same network, right?
Same network, right. Any Stream Deck, or you can even do it from your phone.
Yeah.
I love the fact that the companion app, you can have it on your phone, you can tap those buttons from an iPad or something like that. But I mean, just each one of these buttons, if we just wanted to add a score, let's go ahead and just hit that. So we got score up 1 for the visitors. Let's hit a 3-pointer there, and you can see automatically the 3 shows up on the side because the visitors, we know that if you're gonna get 3 points all at once, you want that 3-point indicator there. We got possessions we can change. And you can see not only is it changing on the graphic,
But the scoreboard tool right
the
there.
scoreboard tool is showing you that as well. So if someone is operating the companion computer, they see the scoreboard tool updating at the same time as the
Fantastic
graphic.
confidence monitor. I
Yeah.
mean, what do you think it is about Companion? What is it about it that makes it, somebody's new to it, right? They want to find a way. What is it that makes it so powerful and kind of something that you would recommend over
Yeah.
the Stream Deck app?
Well, the biggest reason is its features, its capability. We can do so much more with Companion than we can with the Stream Deck app. But the downside is that all that configurability means it's a little bit more difficult.
Sure, but with difficulty comes some power.
Yeah, and so what we've done is we've created presets for all these things. You don't have to decide, okay, how do I link up the possession button to any of these things? We have them all as our presets. So there you can see we've got Scoreboard Tool Basketball as a preset. And just as an interesting one, let's bring in clock down near the bottom, just where it says game clock, over there on the preset. Let's drag that to the open slot. Okay, now you'll see we actually have two clock buttons in the Stream Deck. So let's go back over to Captivate. And when we start the clock, I'm going to start the clock with this button on the left. Now the clock is running, but you'll notice the clock on the right is also showing that. So the Stream Deck is showing the numbers updating live on the Stream Deck. And so this button over here is just a status button. So someone somewhere else in the network can have the game clock, but if I push this, it doesn't change.
It's just
the clock.
It's just a status confidence.
Just the confidence monitor. And you don't have to figure out how to
amazing.
set that up. We've got that all going for you in the presets.
I didn't even know that. What a
Yeah.
great one. Anything else on Companion that important to you? You want to highlight a little bit?
So Companion does get a little bit difficult at times. We've tried to make it easy with the presets, but I will mention one thing. We have a school that's using our software, and the person who set up the Stream Deck integration with that has done a remarkable job of adding multiple actions to each button. So one of the things you can use our presets to bring in the main action.
Absolutely.
But under Companion, you can add additional actions. So let's say shot layouts do that, or shots do that in our system, but you can also do something similar with these Companion buttons. So all of these actions, any of the actions that Captivate can do, can be controlled from any button.
And then there are things like the internal actions in Companion.
Yes.
So you can set the background color. So when you press something, it changes the color from green to red. We're doing some of that for you, but you can configure it yourself.
Yeah.
My favorite one is the wait variable, or the
Yes,
wait
the
button,
delay,
right?
yeah.
The delay. So if you say visitor score +1, wait 5 seconds, and then, run an ad or play a specific video, you can customize all of that in Companion and build out step by step different actions just from one pressable button.
Yes. And the fact that you can customize it that much is the greatest part of it. That's the
Without a
reason we encourage you. And if you have any issues, we've got plenty of people who can help out.
So many.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for. And what a great lead into our next person.
Right on.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Jeff. We're going to bring in Daniel now to talk a little bit about all those people who are on this team to help you guys out as things, if you have any questions, if there's anything you want to look at. So thanks for popping in, Daniel. Pop a squat right over here. We're going to be talking about two things with you, right? Two things that you want people to know about, maybe they don't know about.
A lot of people know about them.
The message, I don't know.
But I want to talk about support related things such as how you can help us help you.
I mean, that's
So-
number one, right? So number one of these I know is going to be our message log. So that is hidden up here under view, and then we go to message log. And now what are we looking at here? I just see a blank page.
Yeah, so we're just going to see a blank page at first, but thankfully we still have the Stream Deck configured, right?
Exactly right.
So let's go ahead and start a clock here.
Yep.
And now what we're going to see is all the data coming in
Amazing.
that is going to be going into the graphic. So if we have some kind of discrepancy with what we think we should see and what we do see in the graphic, we can capture this data here.
It's just it's such a good way so that, hey, do we know, are we getting the right information?
Right.
Are we not getting the
Yeah,
thing that we
let's make
expected?
sure that the problem is either in the data coming in or in
Exactly.
the graphic and how we're set up with variables or whatnot.
So if somebody's connected to something and they're like, hey, when I click on this button, it's not updating the way I think it should.
Right.
we can go to that message log and say, well, this is why we're not getting the right data. It's
Yep.
coming in wrong, or we are getting the right data. And now we've got a path we can start to follow.
Yeah, we can save this log and then we can go back and look at it. It gets really long, so you can clear it. There's a clear log button over there that can be really helpful.
Yep.
Go ahead and click on that.
We got our clear log
Yeah,
button.
and then
our
we can just
strat.
start over again.
And then we got our save log right here so that we
Yep.
can just save this to the support package, which I think is going to be our next topic. Anything
Yeah.
else you want to hit on the message log?
No, this is just you can do a little troubleshooting on your own and say,
Right.
okay, you know, it is what I'm expecting, what I'm seeing.
And everything is going to be here. So if I was, as an example, let's just stop this
Sure,
clock
and
then
score.
and
We'll
yeah,
say
we could do
score.
score, but we could also play a graphic, right? And now we get all these update, or we get this animation in
Absolutely.
action, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be every single action that you are doing, not just the variable updates, but the graphics animating in, the graphics animating out, specific renders, specific, every action that is taken in Captivate is going to be able to be found right here in this message log.
Correct.
And now, how can people get this message log to you?
Oh, well, save the log out.
Yep.
So
click
go
right here
ahead,
and save
yeah.
log, and then I believe this is just going to write it directly to a support package.
Yes.
Now, what's a support package?
Okay, so now the support package we can use, we want to create a support package. It can be really effective if we have a crash or we have something go wrong. And so the support package is in help and create support package. And then it's basically going to give you this dialog that you're going to pick a location and save it to the location. I typically just run it to the desktop, and then you can send that directly to us. It's zipped up and it's ready to go. And then we unzip it. We can take a look. If there was a crash, we might even see a DMP file that we can open up and take a look and see what the crash was.
Or if there's just something that's not acting the way we think, that's the number one thing you're going to ask someone for, right?
There is so much data in there that we would be here for hours going.
Exactly. So if you ever run into something, you want to just help us help you get helped faster. That's the number one thing that you can do.
And it's the same in Windows and Mac help create support package. So yeah.
Exactly. Anything else you want to highlight?
No, I think I'm all right.
Well, then
unless you want to talk about something.
No, get out of here. Thanks for doing this. All right, folks, that's all the people that I could wrangle in to do a webinar for us today. I feel like we covered a lot of information right there. And yeah, so if there's any questions, happy to jump into those, or we can move right on and catch up in 2 weeks, which I know is a long time. So we try to keep them close, but hopefully you can wait 2 weeks for our next webinar.